Welcome back to Financially Fit with B, where I make personal finance and wealth building make sense for Caribbean Americans. You guys have been asking me for this video for a while now to cover investing basics, and there's a reason why I have not done this sooner. I needed to make sure that you guys got through the basics of personal finance, where you're learning to budget, you are analyzing your own finances, and you understand what money you have available to invest with first. You have to walk before you run. Sometimes we like to skip these steps and it ends up landing us in more trouble than we started with. There's a method to my madness. Be sure to go back on my channel and look at the previous videos that I've recorded to help you guys understand where you stand at the moment so you understand what money you have to play with when it comes to investing. I know investing can feel scary. I get it. But what's scarier? Working for 40 plus years and the money that you have saved up in your savings account can barely buy you anything that you really want, or consistently investing into the stock market and seeing that money compound on itself, whether you're working or whether you're sleeping. So I'm breaking down investing one-on-one, beginner friendly, no Wall Street jargon, just real talk. And yes, you can start investing with just 50 bucks. Let's say you were to put in $100 into your traditional savings account every month, and that savings account earns you 0.1% in interest. Over the course of 20 years, you would have deposited $24,000 on your own, and you would have earned about $241 in interest on top of that 24K. Scenario 2, you take that same $100 every single month and you invest it into the stock market, which historically averages about 8% in returns every year. Over the course of 20 years, you would still put in $24,000 of your own, but get this, you would earn about almost $35,000 in compound interest on top of that $24,000. So now that account would have about $59,000 in it. That's the difference. Your money either just sits there or it multiplies. Okay, so quick vocab lesson so that this does not sound like another language, because too often I see that you guys are interested in investing, but don't take the time to learn the basics and then end up confused later on. Just gonna go over some common terms that you probably have heard, but I need you guys to understand the difference between them. A stock is a share of a company that you are buying into. It could be Nike, it could be Amazon, it could be Apple, any publicly traded company that is offering you a piece of their company. That is a stock. Bonds are when you are lending money. The three most common types of bonds are government-backed bonds, municipal bonds from states or cities, which are often tax-free, and corporate bonds. These are issued from a company, but they often include higher risk, yet also a higher return. The next two terms are very close to each other in concept, but they are different. We have ETFs, which are exchange-traded funds, and we have index funds. ETFs are a basket of investments that you can buy as if you were buying one single stock. For example, some popular ETFs are VTI, QQQ, and VOO. VTI is the US total stock market. So this is a slice of all the companies in the US stock market. VOO is Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF, which includes the top 500 companies. QQQ tracks the NASDAQ 100, which is another exchange in the US that tracks mostly tech stocks. So basically, you can buy any one of those ETFs and get a share of each of those companies. And when you look at the details of each ETF, it gives you a breakdown of all the companies that are encompassed in there and how much it makes up of the whole pie. Now, index funds, which are similar to ETFs, vary slightly because you can buy these directly from the broker. A broker would be, some examples, Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab. These are places where you can create an account with them and make trades to buy into bonds, stocks, index funds, ETFs, any type of security. Each of these brokerages offer their own types of index funds. For example, Vanguard's index fund that tracks the S&P 500 goes by the ticker VXUS. Charles Schwab also has their own index that tracks the S&P 500, and that goes by the ticker SWPPX. Fidelity too has their own index fund that tracks the S&P 500, and that one is under FXIAX. You have different methods to achieve the same goal. You can purchase any of these based on the brokerage account that you have and still get a piece of the pie. You can think of ETFs kind of like a Caribbean food platter. You don't have to just get jerk chicken or just get a roti. You can have a little bit of everything. You can have some pepper pot, some grill, anything that you want, and you can mix and match to create a whole platter. This is the part that people miss. You do not need thousands and thousands of dollars to start investing. You can do it with $50 or $100 a month. You will still see gains even if you're starting small. The key here is the consistency. It is not the dollar amount, it is the consistency. If you put in $50 every single month, that's $600 in a year, but over the course of the years, that will grow to tens of thousands of dollars. It's not about the amount, it's about the habit. And the earlier you start, the more time you have for your money to snowball. This is why people emphasize starting early. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. It does not exist. The perfect moment was yesterday. The next best moment is today. Just open up an account and start putting money into it on a consistent basis that works for your budget. So where to put the money? Where do you go to invest? I know this is the burning question that everyone has, and it is a lot simpler than you think. First, you need to understand what type of account you want and what you are exposed to. I would say start with your employer. If your employer offers you a 401k, a 403b, a 457b, anything that has numbers and letters like that when it comes to retirement, first things first, sign up with your employer. They often offer a company match where, say for example, if you put in 3% of your salary, they will match 3% of your salary. And that is essentially free money that is going into your retirement account that is going to expand your compound because you have more money going in there. Please make sure if you are active with your employer's retirement options, please make sure you are putting in the minimum amount to get your match. For example, if your company says you have to be contributing a minimum of 5% of your salary into your 401k and you're only putting in 2%, you are not going to get the match. You need to be putting in at least 5%, and then you're losing out on an extra 5% of your salary. Step one, start with your employer, see what retirement options they are offering, and make sure that you were signed up with them. The other bonus here is the more money that you put into your retirement accounts, the lower your tax liability is. So yes, that's also a bonus. Most of your retirement options are pre-tax, and that will lower your taxable income. But taxes are another topic for another day, but it's a double whammy. You get to grow your retirement account and you get to pay less taxes in the following year. The second type of account that you can open if you are looking to start investing is called a Roth IRA. This is something that has its tax benefits. The money that goes into a Roth IRA is going to be post-tax, but it grows tax-free. You don't have to pay taxes on it as long as you continue investing and you stay within the limits that you can contribute. And when you pull out the money later on, post-retirement, you don't pay taxes then either. If you qualify for this, this is gold for beginners. You put in the money post-tax, it grows tax-free, and when you withdraw it, you don't pay taxes. Now, let's say you maybe maxed out your Roth IRA because it does have annual limits of how much you can contribute to it. And maybe you're already contributing what you need to for your employer contribution and match, but you want to continue investing. You can then open a brokerage account. This is on your own, independent from anything else, where you don't have any tax perks necessarily, but you also don't have any contribution limits either. This is your free-for-all where you can invest in ETFs, index funds, individual stocks, bonds, anything that you could think of that the brokerage offers you, you can use your brokerage account to buy and sell these types of securities. Now, I'm going to use these three main brokerages as examples. There are others out there, but Fidelity, Schwab, and Vanguard all offer different types of ETFs, index funds, individual stocks, and it's really about a preference for what you are looking for. The platform experience can be different between them, so it's really trial and error and it's user preference. Fidelity is great. There's no minimums to start investing. They accept $1 and up, and it's great for beginners. They have a lot of research tools to help you learn the different levels of investing. Vanguard is known for their low cost index funds, which means that you pay less in fees and you get to keep more of the money that you're investing. And Charles Schwab has great customer support if you need help with anything. There's also no rules to having only one account with any of these platforms. You are free to open however many that you want. And I will say Fidelity is great with their custodial Roth IRAs and their custodial accounts. I actually have and manage one for my niece. She can then take over when she's of age. But they make it really easy for you to see all your accounts in one place and to help you learn more along the way. Let's talk about a simple starter pack strategy for this. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so this is not official financial advice. I'm using these as examples to get you an idea of how to get started. so that you are covered globally in all markets, and then you could tweak from there. We're not going to overcomplicate this. So typically you might see people suggest to invest in a global market index, something that covers the country that you're in, and then maybe a more narrow scope of maybe the biggest companies. In this example, let's pick 3 tickers that will cover you on all bases. This will help diversify your risk, meaning maybe if your zoomed in batch of stocks is not doing so great, but the global market is booming, you will offset that risk between more zoomed in basket of investments and the global market. VTI covers the entire US stock market. Then you have VXUS, which is a Vanguard-based security that covers the total global stock market. And then you have VOO, which tracks the S&P 500, which are the top 500 biggest companies in the US. So this way you have something that's more narrowed down to the top 500 companies, you have the whole US market, and you also have the global market to diversify your investments. So maybe the S&P 500 is not doing so great, but the global market is doing amazing. That is going to help you offset any losses that you might see within the S&P 500 with the gains that you might see on the global level. Now, you can also have the option to automate your investments. If every 2 weeks when you get paid, you want to go ahead and buy into each of these every time, you can do that. You can set it and forget it, and you're always buying into the same thing. So you will see consistent gains over time. This is called dollar cost averaging. And even in the instances where some of these securities may not be doing well, you're basically just being able to buy into it cheaper. So when it does bounce back and goes up, your profit margin is greater at that point. And it all averages out because over time, the data has shown that the market always bounces back. The habit matters more than timing the market. Investing is not about getting rich overnight. It's about buying your freedom for your future self. So you start today, you start small, and you stay consistent. If you have any of the securities that I mentioned in this video, drop a comment and let me know which ones. If you have any accounts with the brokerages that I've mentioned, let me know in the comments. If you still have questions about how to get started with opening an account, let me know in the comments and I will try to guide you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who says that they're going to start investing and hasn't yet. Thank you for joining. Stay financially fit. Mwah.